which won't fail. Tune in, it's time for Common Man. Common Man, Common Man, charge the housewives like no one can. What'd you shoot? Where'd we play? Non-stop nonsense on deck today. Tune in, it's time for Common Man.
Oh, boy. Why should anybody aspire to be a common man, an average man? Do you realize what it means to be average? That means you're the best of the lousiest, and the lousiest of the best. Now, if we demand more and more for producing less and less, while the have-not nations encourage and inspire and indeed require hard work and maximum effort, if we deify the common men while they encourage and reward the uncommon ones, well, the end result of such a lopsided race as that is too obvious to require elaboration.
I mean, it's like, hello?
Some tags, only got $20 in my pocket. I'm hunting, looking for a come up. This is being awesome.
Well done, young man.
That's all, folks.
Oh, there's that.
Quack, quack.
Do you think that's some information I would like to know?
You just have to draw your own conclusions, people.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
This is not Detroit, man. This is the Super Bowl.
Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay.
Yo, what up, Tennessee?
Is wearing women's underwear part of your training?
Yeah, baby.
Timberwolves superfan KFAN Dan Barrero.
How do you like me now?
Ladies and gentlemen, we're seeing what a sophisticated offensive game plan looks like. You talk about...
I'm a fraud.
Yes.
He's the clown from Brown. He's the fourth in the north. This is the common man, Dan Cole.
Hey, and the drama is underway in 5, actually 3, but 5 sounds like more than 4. 2-1, greetings, good afternoon, and act to you and yours. I'm the common man, Dan Cole, though I don't really sound like him right now. This is day 3 of my cold. Tend to be, I don't know. The way I've got it figured, this is my theory anyways, it takes 3 days to get a cold, 3 days to have a cold, and then 3 days to get rid of a cold. So it's about a 6-7 day process, actually 9-10 day process to have a cold. And so this would be day, I first started feeling that dry cough on Monday. So it was Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So Thursday, I think day 4 of really getting deep into the weeds in my cold. And I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Are you one of those people, if you get a cold, you take time off? Or do you feel that your coworkers should take time off? Or do you think a cold's a cold, it goes around the world, around and around and around? There's always somebody who has a cold. So you're careful, you wash your hands often, you cover your, if you cough or sneeze, you do it in your sleeve and you just try to do the best you can. Or do you think, like, are you disappointed that I'm here? It's like, what are you doing here? You should be at home because you are contagious. Your thoughts?
No, you're in a studio all by yourself, and you're going to wipe down the microphone, and
correct.
I'm sure the guy after you will wipe everything down. And on the list of things that are contagious, I think cold is on the lower end.
Yeah, I think it is. I guess it
but I mean, you're just a tough guy. You're from Detroit. That's
that's it.
You just keep battling. You keep battling.
Am I supposed to take 2 Sudafed or 1? Oh, it says it's a 1-pill dose. This must be powerful stuff. I've heard decongestions can actually work against you. While it clears you up, it's actually worse long term. I don't know. I'm gonna knock one down. I think they used to make drugs out of Sudafed, like crack cocaine or something too. I thought. Remember, there was the longest time. I still think they do. Do they have Sudafed locked behind the counter at drugstores? I think they do. Because,
probably.
Yeah, people will discover anything. They'll grind them down. By the way, let me. I'm just going to take one of these right now so I can try to clear myself out. Abusing drugs on the air. What are you doing? I'm trying to get better. So, yeah, I'm the same way. I don't. A cold is a cold is a cold. They're all the same. I mean, even at home, I slept on the couch and it's not because my wife's mad at me. That happens occasionally. I'm in the doghouse. But I slept on the couch, and she says, "You come to a couch?" I have a couch, a leather couch of some sort. It's as good as a mattress. It's a wonderful place to sleep. I mean, some couches are just awful, right? This one works really well. Well, you had a couch that you didn't want to get rid of, and once you got married, you did.
I love that couch.
And it's gone now. I wonder where it is.
No! I forget where we shipped that one off to.
Have you ever seen this? Of course you have. It's more of a rhetorical question. You'll be driving down the road trying to loosen your load. You got 6, 7 women on your mind. And you'll see like an old do you call it a couch or a Davenport?
That's a boomer term, but yeah.
So you'll see a Davenport sitting on at the end of the driveway, and there'll be a sign that says "free."
Yeah.
Is there somebody that's really going to stop and pick that up? Now, I guess if you're destitute, of course, if you're destitute, you probably don't have a car or truck, so how are you going to get it home anyways? You're just going to drag it to wherever you live? And it's like, if you're giving it away for free, it can't be... It can't be somebody that anybody covets, right? Why would you want?
It's always sitting out there too, and you're waiting for the rain to pour on it.
It's like, man, I don't know. So I've never.
When I was in college and was flat out broke, I probably would have picked up one of those couches.
When I was living in Wyoming doing radio, I lived in the Tri-City area of Kemmer, Diamondville, and Frontier, and me and 2 of my buddies. Another guy worked at the radio station. Another guy was an accountant. I met him. We were on the same softball team. He approached the radio station and said, "Will you guys sponsor slow pitch softball team?" And of course, we said, you know what the boss said? "Well, you can put our logo on your jersey, but we ain't paying for anything." So every guy in the team had to buy his own uniform. But anyway, we lived in a trailer that was actually owned by the owners of the radio station. Why they had it, I don't know, because they lived up in Jackson Hole. They owned a handful of radio stations, like 4 of them, right? So I was renting the trailer, and all we had for furniture was a kitchen table and 4 kitchen chairs, and, really cheap one, something you'd see on a 1950s television show, right? Just the kind of metal legs and just, not much padding on the seats. That was our only furniture that was there. Otherwise, what we did was we had 3 lawn chairs, 2 sit-up ones, and one, the one that you lay out on? What's the name of that? They're lawn chairs. What do they call that one? I don't know what they call that kind. But, the kind that you can actually stretch out. And then there's 2 regular, the ones that are real cheap that collapse are made out of aluminum and they, got the webbing and all that. That was our furniture. And our table was, we had 2 milk crates, and then we had I think, a couple of planks, wooden boards that we used, and that's what our furniture was at our house, and we were thrilled with it. That was fine. We didn't need any more than that. We didn't need end tables. We didn't need lamps. We didn't need a coffee table. We had our own coffee. We made a coffee table. So back in the days, you didn't care. So I had a bed that was it wasn't even a bed. It was a box spring and a mattress laying on the floor. That's all. It was a much simpler time back then when I was in my Haight-Ashbury days, when I was in the midst of consuming a whole multicolored galaxy of uppers and downers and screeners and laughers. Here's a text message that came into the Bradshaw and Brian KFAN text line. It says, pseudoephedrine is used to make meth. You have to register your name when you buy more than a box of it. So if you buy more than a box of Sudafed, you have to register your name, apparently, because I think you're making methamphetamine. This one says, me and my buddies pick up free couches all the time. They make dope bonfires. Rural Minnesota type stuff. That makes sense.
Yeah.
This one says, I saw a couch on the curb with a piece of plywood leaning against it that said free. I'm like, sweet, a free piece of plywood. So that's what he took, the plywood, right? That makes sense, too. Here's one that says, it's called a Chase Lounge. Yeah, that's pretty fancy, though. I mean, I guess technically even a lawn chair that kind of folds out where you can lay on it and bathe in the sun would be called a Chase Lounge.
I don't know if we can call it that.
But when I think Chase Lounge, I think something from like a Marilyn Monroe movie or Bridget Bardot. You know, that's what I'm thinking. Bridget Bardot just died the other day, by the way.
The couch that I had to get rid of had a Chase Lounge. That's why I was devastated.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Do you like sectionals? You know, the one that's shaped, you know, it's like...
I want to like kick my feet up. I don't want my feet touching the floor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have one of those sectionals, but I do have... Our choice when we bought the furniture was you can either buy a coffee table or you can have a great big huge ottoman that's as big as a coffee table, but it's got, you know, the soft cushion. Well, it's not soft, but you know, a cushion on the top and then storage space underneath. And I opted for that's the greatest thing ever. Best part is watching football with Deuce or baby brother Peter, and I'll move it down just far enough where they can't get their feet to reach. They go, you mind pushing that down? I said, how much money you got? Then you charge them for it, you see.
I always love that one.
Here's one that says, when I was in college, I don't think I owned a single piece of furniture that wasn't picked up on the side of the road or on the Craigslist free page. That's just the way it was back then. This one says, the trick to getting rid of the couch is put it on the curb, but don't write free on it. Put at least $50. Because if it says free, people will assume it has no value and it will sit for days. If they think it's worth $50, someone will likely steal it and the thing should be gone by morning. You know what I'm going to give them for that one? Where is it?
Brilliant.
There you go. I appreciate it. That's a brilliant idea. Always make it seem like it's worth more. We'll see if the Sudafed kicks in. I hope I don't get a meth high on it. I'm done altering my mind. I think I told you, I don't need to alter my mind to have a good time anymore. I did that forever. So let's pause. When we return, it'll be Peek at the Purple. There's controversial Vikings news out there. I think I want to dive into a topic we haven't really talked about much with the Vikings. That'd be the quarterback situation. So Peek at the Purple is right around the corner. Mark Rosen will join us. Are you out tomorrow?
I'm out tomorrow, yes.
You know what? I could be a detective because I saw the mass text that was to me, you, and Brett Blakemore say, Brett, make sure you let the competitors up for a program password. I said, Tennebee's probably going to be out tomorrow.
We got a hockey tournament tomorrow.
Yeah. So Tennebee's out, but we will have a program, and we'll let you know who the players are. It should be fun. So we'll take a short break. We'll come back with a little distant louder right there in the band.
Teachers go above and beyond. Now it's your turn. Nominate your favorite for a Thank a Teacher powered by Donors Choose. They could win $5,000 for classroom supplies. This week's winner is Alexandra Maraca, a general music teacher at Red Rock Elementary School. Nominate a teacher to thank today at iHeartRadio.com/teachers.
So what was I going to say? Oh, so I've you've probably heard the commercials I've had for mnfatloss.com. I lost 30 pounds in 60 days. Just love it. It's I can extol its virtues forever. But they want me for their website to put together a video. You know, like, hey, Common Man Dan Cole here from KFAN. I've been rehearsing it in my head. I can't do it. I don't know why. Can you ad lib like that, Tendenby? Because I don't want it to be stumbling and stammering like I am when I'm on the radio. It has just been haunting me as I'm trying to do it because I finally sat down after trying to memorize a short script in my head, and I've sat in front of my phone trying to do my video, and it's like, take 38, take 39, take 40. And baby brother Peter gave me a tip. He said, when I have like presentations I have to do for class, because I tried to do the same thing, memorize it word for word. He said, then if you leave out one word, you're lost. He says, just have a general idea and wing it. Which is,
you're a gardener.
That's right. And
Yeah.
why am I fighting that? Why am I trying to? Because I think it's a video that's going to be there, and it just feels like it should be something that's really, I don't want to be going, it really works really good, and I lost a lot of weight. It's like
you could just do that in your robot voice.
I could just
to
do
make
it. Yeah.
Make it obvious you had it memorized.
So, anyways, but we'll continue to work on that. We call that a endorser. We have Woodbury problems. That's an endorser problem, but I'll continue to work on that. Peek at the Purple brought to you by our friends at Affordable Electric. If you're remodeling this winter, before that drywall goes up, make sure your electrical is done right. You didn't think about that, did you? Affordable Electric adds circuits, installs lighting, upgrades wiring, and they'll solve hidden issues. So your project's safe and future ready. Start your remodel the smart way. Reach out to Affordable Electric today. Affordable/electric.com. That's affordable/electric.com. And remember, if you remember nothing else, hold on as I kill time. Tenby, where is it? I lost my button bar.
Oh, no.
I have it here somewhere. Yeah, there you go. I got it here too. Watch this. It's shockingly affordable. You got anything Purple related? I have nothing. I guess we could say, I'm hearing rumors the Vikings might be talking to Jim Harbaugh about the offensive coordinator position. Was he offense or defense guy? Harbaugh. You know what I read about? I didn't know.
He always liked the running game and the offensive line.
I didn't know anything really about his past. When he was hired, he was recommended to the Ravens owner by Bill Belichick. And at the time, he was like special teams coach. He'd never been a head coach. He'd never been an offensive coordinator or a defensive coordinator. And that's kind of out of the norm, right?
Sure.
Generally, it's like you either were a head coach at one time. Matter of fact, a lot of these guys have had 13. I was reading. Here's another thing I was reading. It's amazing. There's 6 openings right now. I think 6, 7 openings. And there was a story. Fish Wrap Fact. No, it was. I think it was a CBS Sports story. They had the team that's looking for a coach listed, and then where they are in the search process. And they've interviewed these 3 guys already, and they got these 6 more guys lined up. And some of them, like Mike McCarthy, is going to be interviewed again.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't want to take anything away from Mike McCarthy because he's got a ring. I don't, right? But he got that ring with Aaron, right? And and it's like same with Belichick, right? He has all those rings, but once Tom left, once Tom left, he didn't win anymore. So it's like, and then McCarthy went to Dallas, and he didn't accomplish much there either, did he? If I was an owner of a football team, and I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon, I think I'd want fresh blood. I'd want somebody that's never done the job before. I mean, somebody that's coached and knows the game and has had success. But the idea of just recycling, and again, I harbor no ill will toward Mike McCarthy. Probably a fine man, husband, father, good coach. I mean, you've heard me say this 13, 14 times. You don't get to the pinnacle of coaching, which would be in the NFL. It's the NFL, right? Head coach NFL. There's no higher calling. So if you make that means you can coach. But I just sometimes wonder, man, I really want to bring Mike McCarthy in. That wouldn't. If the Vikings were looking for a coach and they announced that Mike McCarthy was being hired, would that excite you? Would you go, oh man, now we're talking. Let's start humming, baby. I'd be going, why? So, but then again, I don't know. And then there's the process of the interview and each guy trying to impress you, and it's like it's just a crapshoot, just like it is drafting quarterbacks.
I will say at the beginning of the segment, you asked me anything Vikings out there.
Yeah.
This may be nothing.
Ooh,
but it might be something.
I'm going to do a preemptive. Oh my gosh!
At the very least, we should
speculation.
We should speculate. Mark Rosen was with you yesterday in the 2:00 hour, and he said Kwesi and KOC are going to talk. They're going to talk to the media tomorrow. And now it's Thursday, and my sources tell me they were originally going to talk today, and they pushed it back to next Tuesday. Might be nothing, but I'm also just curious as to why that got pushed back 5 days.
See, you should be hosting the program, and I should be sidekicking. How did you find this out? Did you just got you were just thinking it through, right? I like that.
Now, we finally did get the email about 30 minutes ago that they are going to meet Kwesi and KFC both. We'll meet with the media Tuesday at 11 a.m. Tonight during our program.
Right.
But still, it was supposed to be today.
Yeah, I wonder where that
And you moved it to 5 days later. Why? That's all I want to know. That'd be my first question if I was a reporter on Tuesday.
Maybe O'Connell wants to go golfing this weekend. Maybe he's decided he's taking off today. He's going to Palm Springs or something. He's going to play some golf. Who knows? It could be something as innocent as that, or it could be a deeper dive. Well, I had somebody tell me.
Is it just all the drama going on in Minnesota right now? Maybe they're just pushing it back?
That's possible. Well, and here's the other here's so many different things out there, I think Kwesi's about to be fired. It's like, well, I don't think Kwesi's about to be fired. I guess it could happen, but it's like, you just gave him a contract extension. What would change? I mean, he's not had any draft picks since then. He's not done anything since then, but people just throw stuff out. I guess maybe they do hear something. I
do think Kwesi is now officially on the hot seat. I think he's got one more draft. And if the draft doesn't go well again, and if next season is another mediocre season, I think he's done.
Well, here's what I'll tell you. I can never remember the first name of the Jackson kid. His first name, I always want to call him Jonah Jackson, but it's
like
not.
The quarterback?
No, our lineman that we drafted.
Oh, Donovan
Jackson. I read conflicting reports. Some that said he was just meh. Others said he's looked pretty good out there and has a chance. So that's a draft pick that I think they're going to stick with and has a chance. And DT has gotten a lot better. I call him DT because I got a good vibe with him, Dallas Turner. Now, those last 3-4 games where he really started to make an impact, he's playing terrible teams, terrible cities, terrible fans, but that's not his fault. He's overpowering guys he should be overpowering. So, maybe some of these, that Dallas Turner draft pick started to look like a complete and total bust, right? Especially what they had to do to get up to draft him. And then I saw somebody making comparisons between Turner and Verse, and that Verse's productivity has dropped pretty precipitously over the, and whether it's because teams are paying more. Sometimes a guy's numbers will drop. Well, it's because teams are double teaming him, right? It's like, we can't let this guy beat us. We're not going to let this guy beat us. So what we're going to do is we're going to double team him. And if somebody else can beat his one-on-one, well, then we're going to have to live with that. But Peek at the Purple, brought to you by our friends at Affordable Electric. Remember, they are affordable-electric.com. That's affordable-electric.com. And they're shockingly affordable. Don't forget Mark Rosen. He'll join us just before 2 here on The Fan.
Discover the future of Minnesota music at First Avenue's Best New Bands, Saturday, January 17th. The main room lights up with Shoots, GR3G, LaSalle, Megan, and The Birdwatcher, and more. Doors at 6:30, show at 7. Get the full details on the events calendar at KFAN.com.
13:14 past. I'm Common East Tennessee. Mark Rosen will actually be here at 1:30 today.
Yeah.
We're going to do our special edition of Spread Swing, our postseason version. Deuce said he's ready, willing, and able, so we'll reach out to him, and he'll join Tennessee, myself, and Mark Rosen for Spread Swing at 1:30. Someone sent me a text message on the Bradshaw and Brian KFAN text line that says, if you didn't get your Sudafed from behind the counter from a pharmacist, you might as well take a sugar pill. No, I don't buy. My wife does all the shopping. I think she got this Sudafed. This is, the expiration date is, the box is so old that I can't. No, that was the cough drops. The cough drops, I said, expired in 2025. I don't believe in expiration dates. Do you? I mean, if it's on a canister of sour cream and it says,
on my milk jug.
Yeah. Then, but like this says, like on my cough drops, it just said 2025. So all of a sudden, when we ring in the new year and they drop the ball, they don't work anymore. It's preposterous. As a matter of fact, my doctor at Health Partners, my primary, we call him, what he does is he collects expired drugs and sells them on the black market.
Really?
No, what he does is he takes them to third world countries. Because, like, let's say you have a Sudafed let's say the expiration date is today. Do you think, like, tomorrow it's not going to work? How about a week later? How about 2 weeks later? How about 3 weeks later? So, anyways, I didn't buy.
Well, I'm assuming at some point it won't work since they're expired.
But how expired? Why don't you ask? AI? Go ahead and you could you do that? Just type in there. How long will
ask Grok?
Yeah, ask Grok. How long will medication still be effective after the expiration date? Though, you know what I've noticed with these things now? Did we talk about this on the air? You know, it used to be like, well, for instance, I'll give you an example. Remember when I was talking about testicle torsion the other day, where your testicle just twists? The reason I brought it up is baby brother Peter, before he flew back to Minneapolis, thought he had testicle torsion. He woke up in extreme pain, and he Googled it, and it said you could have testicle torsion, and if you do, go to an emergency room immediately. And I think even if now, I think Grok AI and all these AI things in Google, they have to be careful, because if they just tell you, don't worry about it, and you die, they're going to get a lawsuit. So they just panic. Matter of fact, I bet they're going to tell you, don't use a medication after the expiration date goes by. What does it say?
Grok says medications are generally guaranteed to be fully potent and safe only up to their labeled expiration date, as set by the manufacturer and required by the FDA since 1979. After that date, there's no assurance of full effectiveness or safety, and the FDA strongly advises against using expired medications, as they may lose potency, failing to treat conditions properly, or in rare cases become harmful due to chemical changes or bacterial growth. However, research indicates that many medications remain effective well beyond their expiration dates if stored properly in a cool, dry place away from heat and humidity. The FDA's shelf life extension program, which tests stockpiled drugs for the military and government, has found that about 88% of tested drugs can have their expiration dates extended by an average of 66 months over 5 years, with some extensions up to 15 plus years, while retaining adequate stability and potency. Studies on expired drugs, including one analyzing over 100 prescriptions and over-the-counter medications, have shown that 90% or more retain at least 90% potency for years, sometimes 5 to 15 years or longer, after expiration when unopened and properly stored.
There you go. So, you know.
Solid forms like tablets and capsules tend to last longer than liquids, suspensions, or injectables.
Well, part of the reason I would think they have, it's they don't want to be open to a lawsuit, right? But the other one is they want you to buy more. They want you to throw it away. If you haven't used it, like if you buy a box of Sudafed, this one's got 36 tablets. Well, there's a reason we've had it in the drawer for 4 years. It's because you use it a couple of times, maybe 3, and then you're done with it. You might not get another cold or get have a need for Sudafed for a year or two. So then I'm supposed to say, I don't even know what a box of Sudafed costs. I'm sort of like George Herbert Walker Bush, who did not know what the cost of a loaf of bread was. Why? People were stunned by that. Why? Do you think the President of the United States goes to Cub Foods and buys himself a loaf of bread? How would he know? Somebody's buying his bread for him. Because his food cooked for him.
He's buying bread with his bread.
Yeah, it's not his job. See, so I don't know what this costs, but they want you to throw it away and buy new stuff. I'm gonna see how long it works. I'm gonna keep it forever. Is what I'm gonna try to do. This one says a good friend of mine was a chemist testing medicine. Cool job. They're required to verify effectiveness for X time. The companies want to get to market ASAP and will typically only do it for that required time. What he was typically testing for was less effectiveness and more plastic leaching content into the medication. Hold on, I got a cough. Sorry about that.
Did you hit the cough button?
Yeah, oh, sure. Do you have that music for, not the music, but that sound effect for a $25,000 pyramid? That dink, dink.
Sure.
Dink.
Somewhere.
Because I'm going to see how good of a team we would be. Lazy.
Meat sauce. Common Man. Anthony Edwards. Timberwolves defense.
Those are all real good, but I was going to go with Lazy Radio.
List Radio.
List Radio's Lazy Radio. I've got one. CBS Sports ranking the 2026 NFL playoff quarterbacks.
Of course.
So now you're ranking the quarterbacks that are left in there. And for me, it's one guy's opinion. Maybe it's a couple.
By the way, you did that whole last 8 minutes without saying expired.
Expired. I think I said it once.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. You weren't listening. You were just waiting for your turn to talk. Of the quarterbacks that are left in postseason play, Tennessee, who do you think is the guy you'd least want to, according to this list, is the guy you'd least like to have patrolling the gridiron like a general would a battlefield?
I'd have to look at all the teams, but I'm guessing maybe Bryce Young.
That's it. He's rock bottom. It says, here, what does it say about him? It says he threw for 3,000 yards, the fewest by a quarterback to make the 16-plus starts and reach the playoffs since Christian Ponder in 2012. Ponder threw for 2,935 yards despite playing alongside 2012 NFL MVP running back Adrian Peterson. Young's 87.78 passer rating is also the lowest among the 14 postseason starting quarterbacks and ranked 7th lowest in the NFL this season. They say the good news, though, is he played the best game of his 3-year career against the Rams, and I believe that's who they play to open up the playoffs, do they not? I think it's Rams versus
yes.
Carolina.
After that, I'm not looking at the playoff teams.
Yep.
There's a lot of quarterbacks that are jumbled up together here.
Well, let me ask you a question. They have Bo Nix 13.
I was gonna maybe consider. I was gonna say him or C.J. Stroud.
Let me ask you a question, because I'm not paying as close attention to Denver Bronco football generally and Bo Nix's career specifically. They're 14-3 or 13-4, whatever they are.
Number 1 seed
is. What's your take on him? I thought he was playing well, or is it not? Are they doing it mostly with defense or running, or is he?
Everything else around him is going well, so that helps. The defense is really good. Bo Nix has been a little bit up and down. He has games where he looks brilliant and he throws for 4 touchdowns. He can also run a little bit. And he's had some big moments this year in terms of comebacks. But then he also has games where he looks completely pedestrian, but they survive because their defense is really good and their offensive line is really good.
I had an emailer, and I didn't print it because this was easy to remember. He said, why are the radio experts and everybody else not criticizing the Vikings for drafting McCarthy ahead of Bo Nix? And I emailed him back and said, well, I've talked about it. I mean, I think everybody's brought it up before. I mean, I think I read in a recent, it was either the Athletic or one of the Fish Wraps where they talked about, and the way they phrased it was, you had to make a choice between, with McCarthy was inexperienced but upside, right? If you thought he had upside, or you would take Nix just because he was, longer in the tooth. He had a lot of experience, and you kind of knew what you're getting. And I don't know if that was the final determination, or the final determining factor for the Vikings. If they said, because they're sitting there, they probably ranked all these quarterbacks ahead of time. I don't think they all of a sudden just said, so what do you think of Bo Nix and McCarthy as the clock is running, right? They've already, they've already done their analysis of who they might take, and obviously they like McCarthy better than Bo Nix. But it is interesting and I think you've probably summed up Nix's performance. He's been pedestrian at times and really good at times, and he's got a lot of good pieces around him. But it is interesting that of that quarterback class, there were, 6-7 guys taken in the top 12? And the guy that's number 12, he's led his team to the top seed in the AFC in his second or third year. So
even at the time, we talked about Bo Nix and I think it was Michael Penix Jr. They were both old, right? Bo Nix played 5 years in college and was 23, 24 years old when he was drafted. J.J. McCarthy, I think Nix was 23, J.J. McCarthy was 20. So even at the time, we said, if there's one more likely to be NFL ready right away, it's Bo Nix over J.J. McCarthy. But the thought is that J.J. McCarthy had, as you just mentioned, greater potential long term.
Right.
So I still think while I'm not encouraged very much by J.J. McCarthy's first 2 seasons, we do have to remember that he's 22 years old. Bo Nix, when he was drafted, is older than J.J. McCarthy is now. Yeah. So there is a little bit of an advantage for short-term success from Bo Nix.
Jalen Hurts at number 12.
Wow. Didn't he just not win the Super Bowl last year?
He won a big game last year, but they've got him at 12. It says he has 3 consecutive games with fewer than 200 passing yards and didn't complete any of his 7 passes in the second half of the Eagles' 13-12 road win versus the Bills in Week 16. Completion percentage is just under 65%, 3,200 yards, 25.6 is his TD to interception ratio. He doesn't get, and I don't know what to make of him either because I like him as a quarterback, obviously, but it does. When I see him on the sideline sitting on the bench, he looks disengaged. I'm not saying that makes him bad or anything. He just looks like his mind is elsewhere, but he's won a world championship. I just find 12 is a little low.
I can't put CJ Stroud ahead of him. I'm sorry. He won a big game last year.
Yeah.
He played well. It wasn't like, while he had a lot going around him, it wasn't like they were just carrying him and he just, lucked his way into a big game championship. He contributed mightily. And in a one-game scenario, I'm still taking Jalen Hurts over C.J. Stroud, probably taking Jalen Hurts over many others that you're about to mention.
Would you put him over Caleb Williams?
For one game, yes.
And that's because they have Caleb Williams next at 11. Then they have, this is the one that kind of, I guess this shouldn't surprise me, maybe just because I'm such a Sam Darnold guy. He's ranked at number 10.
Have you not mentioned C.J. Stroud yet?
No, he's at 9.
What's going on?
He's at 9.
What am I missing?
I don't know. Says Sam Darnold is the quarterback of the NFC's number 1 seed, but his play is trending down at the wrong time. He has 8 total tutties to 10 turnovers since week 11. His NFL leading 20 turnovers are what's holding him back in these rankings. That, and he took an NFL playoff record 9 sacks in his postseason debut last year to the Vikings' opening round loss to the Rams. His 8.5 yards per pass attempt, second best in the NFL, and passer rating of 99.1, 11 best in the NFL, are solid. There's always concern he could revert to the Jets version of himself as he did last postseason. And that sums up Darnold in a nutshell. I think that's what the Vikings must have been thinking, because when you're looking for a franchise quarterback, everybody's searching for one, right? And then you have a guy that leads you to where he did. Now we know that Detroit game was worse than the Rams. That's the one that should be brought up. The Rams game, I still think a lot of it had to do with lack of protection. But if you want to throw that game in there as well, a couple of lemons back to back. But, I've said this before, and is he a perfect quarterback? By no means. There aren't many of them. You've heard me say this a couple 13, 14 times, or at least 6, 7 times. Pat Mahomes and Josh Allen just aren't available to any other teams other than the Kansas City Chiefs and the Buffalo Bills. So it's like, well, you got to have somebody. And if you're looking to win, and you're looking to win now, you look at a guy like Darnold and say, everybody praised him for what a great turnaround he had in his career. He was basing on his last leg. His last stop was going to be Minnesota. He gets a chance to start one, and he's brilliant, for the most part. But they've got him. Then it's Stroud. Aaron Rodgers at number 8 in the middle of the pack.
I was wondering where he was going to be.
Yeah. I think the rap against him is he's still at this stage in time. He still checks down a lot, But I don't think that's bad. I think that's smart quarterbacking.
I also think he just doesn't have a lot working around him on the offensive side of the football.
That's another thing, too.
His running backs are mediocre. At least he's going to get DK Metcalf back for the playoffs, but he was suspended the last 2 games. And after Metcalf, he's got nobody to throw to.
Are you forgetting about the kid from Thief River Falls?
Who went to St. Cloud State?
Who went to St. Cloud State.
Yeah.
Brock Purdy at number 7. Your thoughts?
I'm trying to think of the ones that are ahead of him.
He's got Herbert at 6.
Yep.
Love at 5. Lawrence at 4. Josh Allen at 3. Drake May, number 2, and then your guy, Matty Stafford, at number 1.
I mean, Josh Allen, I still think Josh Allen should be higher. Speaking of a guy who has nobody to throw to, he has 0 weapons, and it's almost criminal what Buffalo has done to Josh Allen, given you have like a guy who could be the league MVP on any given year, and you've given him nothing to work with offensively and really invested nothing from a receiving standpoint. But I think the winner of that Jaguars-Bills game might end up taking down the AFC.
Yeah. Well, it's, they always had to go through Kansas City. There's that stat out there that's brought up often where Kansas City and Mahomes' record against the Bills over the past few years since Allen and Mahomes have gone head-to-head. Regular season, Chiefs are like, 0-4, 0-5? But in postseason play, you just flip-flop. In other words, in the regular season, the Bills have won. But when it came time when push comes to shove and you get to postseason play, Mahomes always outdueled Allen. And it runs deeper than that. We know that. Depends how your defense is playing. And, if you have, we've seen this happen on numerous occasions. A guy will drop a ball. I mean, it happened to, we were talking about Harbaugh getting fired by Baltimore, and people go, how could you fire a guy like that? He won a big game. His first 5 years, he went to like 3 NFC championship games and won a big game. Postseason success hasn't been as good, but there have been a couple of times, like, wasn't there one, I don't know if it was the last time the Ravens were in the playoffs or maybe 2 seasons ago, when didn't their tight end have a ball right in his hands
Mark
that
Andrews
would have won the game for him, and he dropped it? It's like, is that on Harbaugh? Is that his fault that the guy dropped the ball? And,
And his kicker missed a field goal to go to the playoffs this year.
Exactly.
In the season in which Lamar Jackson missed a bunch of games.
Exactly. So I sometimes wonder, and, it's not to say that any of these coaches are, can't touch this. Who did that song? Can't touch this.
MC Hammer.
It's not like they're MC Hammer, where you can't touch him. He's untouchable. He gets to coach as long as he wants. There's some people that feel that way about Tomlin, and Tomlin's been a terrific coach. I don't think did I read this right? Is this the number that's associated with him more than any? He's never had a season of below 500 as a coach ever. I mean, that's astonishing to me. You would think that just once in a number of years he's been there. Has he been with the Steelers like 13, 14, 15 years?
Well, not only that, since Big Ben retired, he's had pretty awful quarterback play.
Yes. And they still find a way to finish above 500. But I don't know. Here's what somebody says. Hold on, I got a cough. A couple of people are wondering what text message that says just tuned in. I didn't know Barry White was hosting the program today. You'll never find.
Yeah,
there are people that think I sound better. This one says, you've changed your voice. You sound better. You should get sick more often. I've got that, because I kind of got that whiny, nasally voice that probably annoys people. But yeah, it's the cold. It does make me sound like Barry White. You will never find. Is that Barry White? I don't think that is Barry White.
I think he's one of them, yeah.
Yeah, but I don't think Barry White's the guy that does the song I was trying to sing, which I was doing a very bad rendition of. I think I was doing a song by That's me. Yeah, that's me, all right. So anyway, that's your quarterback rankings. And Matty Stafford at the top is, if you asked me, I think Allen, because he's younger, has some really good physical tools and stuff. And I'll tell you what, man, Matty Ice, I just like when you have a quarterback, talk is cheap, but when they interviewed him after a win 6-7 weeks ago, it was against, Archer. It might have been in the Seattle game, and they talked about it. He goes, and I'm paraphrasing what he said, but he loves the cat and mouse game with the defensive coordinator on the other club. He loves it. He just embraces that. He likes studying film, finding out what they're going to do, and then as the game plays out, trying to one-up them and figure things out. And he there's nothing he's never seen. That's those veteran quarterbacks. That's like Rodgers, same thing. Rodgers, you're not going to confuse him too often. He might not make the throw. He might get sacked. He might throw a pick six. You don't know. But at least these guys, you can trust them to. There's not anything. And the other thing that Rodgers did you watch any of that Ravens game?
I watched kind of the fourth quarter.
He used 3 timeouts early, all 3. He had to use them.
He's having helmet issues.
Yeah, and it's like, well, you got to use them if you got to use them. You want to save them, but you can't just say, well, I need to save those, so I'll have the helmet issues and then get penalized 5 yards. You're just not in a position to do that. And it obviously worked in their favor. Let's go ahead and take a break. We have Spread Swing coming up at 1:30, the postseason edition of it. Rosen will join us at 1:30, as will Deuce. Then Rosen will be around for an hour after that. Other side of the break, Teddy B's got a little 5-3-4 for us. What you got?
Where will B-Flow go?
Got you.